Now, I want to take this opportunity to talk to you about something a little scientific, and it's called the leptin feedback loop. Let's jump into that now.
We're going to increase energy, happiness, and health, and lose more fat by understanding our digestion-related hormones. This is the last of the 3 hormones I'm going to talk to you about today. Your gut is literally like a little mini brain in your stomach, okay? Messages and feedback loops. So the gut and the brain talk constantly. There are a number of feedback loops that we use to tell us when we're hungry and full. And when they are working properly, they are designed to keep the balance between these two sensations of being hungry and full so that we get just enough of what we need. The basics, ghrelin, it tells us when we're hungry, right? Leptin, on the other hand, tells us when we are full. And they usually work in this awesome feedback loop so that we know when we're full and we've had enough, right? It works really well in healthy people. Ghrelin is pretty easy to understand. A few hours after you've eaten, it starts to get produced and it tells you that you're hungry and your tummy starts to growl and all that stuff. We're all very familiar with that. Leptin, on the other hand, the feedback loop is much more complicated because the more fat that you have in your body, the higher leptin is. It's meant to keep you from overeating if you already have really high fat levels. It doesn't want you to overeat and continue that process. It's trying to balance it out. Processed foods disrupt the messages and stop the feedback loop from working. So those really super tasty foods, they just throw everything off, right? It actually stops the messages from happening. So your brain doesn't get told that it's full anymore. And you can eat these foods. We've all been there. It seems like you can eat them forever, right? And as you lose fat, your leptin levels lower, right? Making it harder to lose fat because you're still missing that message telling you that you're full. Because your body, if you lose too much fat, it doesn't want you to feel full. It wants you to feel hungry so that it can find that balance once again, right? So 2 things that are really against us that make losing fat not your fault. We've all experienced these things and we just don't know that it is this underlying hormonal feedback loop that is just messed up in our body. So how do we actually raise leptin when we're experiencing one of these 2 things, either a history of eating too much processed food or we've just gotten to a plateau where we've lost some weight and now just, nothing you do seems to actually work in order to help you drop fat. If you want to get to a place where you can experience this kind of transformation, here is the thing. Research shows that high-intensity exercise produces a cascade of hormones that produces more leptin. More leptin equals less appetite. Research also shows, and here's the kicker, ladies, low or moderate exercise, or intensity exercise, I should say, triggers your appetite, which means you may eat more afterwards and eliminate the benefits of your workouts because you're going to, yes, burn some calories during your workout, but that's about it. And ultimately, it's going to trigger your appetite. So you're going to want to eat more after that hour, right? We want to replace that with high intensity exercise, produce that leptin, and lower our appetites. Great things to do, and these are the keys to mastering your hunger hormones. Strength train, compound movements, and big muscles. Doing exercises, so not just a bicep curl. What you want to do are those big movements that use multi-joints. Big movements like that, big muscles. So the big muscles we're focusing on, glutes, thighs, back, chest, your core, those big muscles in the body, because that's where you want to feel the burn, okay? HIIT, what that means is high intensity interval training. These are short work intervals and then short rest periods. Even if you're on the elliptical, you could do this on the elliptical. You just gotta sprint on the elliptical and then you gotta rest for a really short time, okay? Circuits, these are a bunch of different exercises that you just do one after the other really fast and really intensely, and then you rest for a short period of time and do it again. Tabatas, these exercises are brutal. It is 4 minutes of work versus, 20 minutes, and it's been shown to be far more effective, okay? This is something like 30 seconds on, 30 seconds off. Lastly, sprint training. This is one of my favorite things to do when I want to drop fat quickly because it triggers the same energy systems as when you strength train, okay? So you still feel that burn, right? What is not so great? Long, steady state cardio like running, the elliptical, or aerobics. Lifting just light weights, right? Ladies, how many times have you gone to the gym and just lifted 5 pounds, okay? Doing the same workout over and over again, training for hours and hours, okay? The longer you train, the less intense you're going to be able to go. I have, yet to be able to do a really intense strength training workout for hours because I'm burnt out after half an hour. I've worked that hard.